It's going to be the second season running that Real Madrid finish trophyless. And honestly, if they don't fix their squad and fix the problems in the team this summer, this will be going for years. But something tells me that this summer, Florentino Perez will be ready to take the difficult decision. It has already started with the manager, with Alberto, who won't be staying for the next season. So it will be either Klopp or Mourinho. Either way, I'm rebuilding this Madrid team for next season. Either it will be Klopp, who wants pressing, intensity, and relentless energy, or Mourinho, who will want discipline, warriors, and working off hard on the ball. So either the team works for both managers. So let's get straight into it. So we start with the goalkeepers, where I think we are actually blessed with Courtois, Lunin, and Fran Gonzalez. So we start Courtois. Of course, he's the best goalkeeper in the world when he's fit. He still has a lot to offer again, and even he's becoming a leader in the team. I've heard great things about Courtois in the dressing room. He speaks when the team isn't doing well, even when the team is doing well. So I'll keep Courtois, and as a backup, I'll keep Lunin. He's happy to stay as a backup. He has shown great things as a backup. Remember that season where Courtois is injured and he does incredible things in the Champions League, and you have the young Fran Gonzalez, if needed, who has also a huge potential to come in the squad. So the goalkeeper's position stays as it is. Let's start at left back. We have Kairas, who has shown great things this season, but has also showed weaknesses. He has a lot to improve in the second season, but we already need to bring in a cover for him because Ferland Mendy is injury prone. If there is a team in Saudi, if there is a team in France that wants him, I'll let him leave for a free this summer. Garcia wanted to leave in January. Teams like Bournemouth were heavily interested. I'll let him leave in this summer transfer window. If there is a club like Bournemouth that can come and put 15 million on him, I'll let him leave. So which brings me to Kairas as my only option, but I need to bring in a player, a different player with a different profile, a player who's even more experienced. So I went for the, I think, perfect opportunity this summer. He's currently the German captain. This season with Leipzig has really shown great things. 3 goals and 6 assists this season as a left back. It's not bad. He's experienced. He comes in and gives competition to Kairas. I'll sign David Rom for around 20-25 million. I think that's a player that won't say no and who would play a great role into the team. These are the kind of experienced players that Madrid need to bring in this summer. Which leads us to the other flank, where I think we also have to recruit, because Carvajal has announced that he's leaving. Proper legend, proper captain, has given his best years to Real Madrid. I think you let him leave on a free, on good terms, which leads us to Trent as the only option. By the way, Trent was recruited to be the long-term replacement of Carvajal. So Trent comes in, we keep him, but he has shown weaknesses. We can't rely on him on a full season, either defensively but also physically, where I think Trent will honestly struggle into a team which will press high, which will work hard. Trent, again, this is a player that has started playing football since he's 17 years old, has played in a demanding type of football with Klopp at Liverpool. I really think you have to go and get another serious player at that role, because Trent, again, you can't trust him for a full season. So I went for, I think, another great opportunity in the market this summer. It will be a bit difficult to go and get him because, again, he's a top player, but I think with the conditions that are there at Tottenham, I think you can negotiate a deal. So the player I'm talking about is Pedro Porro, Spanish international, dreams of playing at Madrid, has had that Premier League experience, has really showed great things with Tottenham, especially really good going forward, but defensively I think he's better than Trent, a natural right back. I think he's coming in his prime years. If there's an opportunity to go and bring in Pedro Porro for around 35-40 million, you have to put the money there. So you have Trent and Pedro Porro who could compete for that right back role next season. We also have the great Valverde who can play there if needed. So let's move to my center backs. For the center backs, I already start with Araba that I'll let leave. Big wages and really didn't around them through his performances in the recent season has really dealt with injuries. Yes, there is a quality player in him, but honestly, getting his wages off will be really huge for Real Madrid. And another player that I will let leave, honestly, is Raul Asensio. I don't see the future Sergio Ramos as many people thought when he came into the team. Yes, he's a good talent. Yes, he's a good center back, but I don't really see a huge potential in him. I know that Premier League teams would want to spend around 40-45 million on him. So if there is that kind of offer this summer, for me, I'd say Raul Asensio, especially that I've been seeing rumors around him in the dressing room that he's been one of the players that brings problems into the team, that is unhappy with his gaming time, either under Arbeloa and even under Xabi Alonso. Like, we're at Real Madrid. Raul Asensio has done nothing. He is even not Real Madrid quality to be bringing this problem. So for his attitude level, but also for his footballing level, Raul Asensio, I'd said him. If there is an offer around 35 million, I'll take it. Which leaves us with Antonio Rudiger. Unfortunately, I would have loved to sell Rudiger, but I can't sell him. I will keep him for an extra season. He just extended his contract for a further year, so I'll seek his contract out for an extra year, but he won't be my starting center back. I also have Huijsen, who is a promising center back. He hasn't shown the great thing that everyone expected him to show this season, but don't forget that he's a huge talent, one of the best ball playing center backs around in Europe. I would keep him. I also keep Militao. When fit, he's the best center back at Real Madrid. So I'd start Militao and I'd put Huijsen in competition, because we know that Militao deals with a lot of injuries. So Huijsen will get a lot of minutes, but I bring in a leader next to Huijsen or next to Militao. So I went for a player again, which I think is a great opportunity this summer. Again, Tottenham fan will hate me, but I went for Christian Romero. I don't forget that this guy is a World Cup winner, Europa League winner, Europa League Player of the Year. Fabrizio Romano has confirmed that this summer he'll be around to leave to a team in Spain for around 60 million. There is big chances that he leaves. Tottenham also already have replacement in a player like Luka Vuskovic, who's coming back on loan from Tottenham. So I don't think it will be complicated to negotiate with Tottenham, especially again that they might get relegated. So if there is an opportunity this summer for Christian Romero, you can't let him leave and go to a team like Atletico Madrid. You have to bring in Romero. The Real Madrid lack players like him, experienced players who are also malicious. This is a player that will work really well in a team of Mourinho. If Mourinho comes in as the manager, leader, has won everywhere he's been. He's won with Argentina, he's won also with Tottenham. Again, Romero is the perfect opportunity this summer. So which brings my defense to Carreras, Militao, Romero, and Pedro Porro. As backups, I have David Rom, I have Huijsen, I have Rudiger, and I have Trent also. I think that's solid as our center backs. Let's move to the midfield. So in the midfield, again, I'll start with the players I'll sell right away. Camavinga, great player. Honestly, I'm still convinced that there is a top talent in him. I don't forget what he has shown earlier in his days at Rennes. I don't forget the glimpse of magic he shows sometimes, but again, there is a lot of inconsistency, and I think this is maybe the last summer to get a huge fee for Camavinga. If a Premier League team, let's say Manchester United, comes in with a fee around 60-70 million, you have to sell him, you have to move on, and I think it will be also better for him in a different context. And of course, I'd sell Ceballos for a fee around 10-15 million. If there is a La Liga team that comes in for him, I'd sell him. Which brings me to Tchouaméni. Honestly, I'll keep him. If I want to build a team that presses high, a team that works off hard the ball, I keep Tchouaméni as my engine, as my heartbeat for the midfield. Everything passes from Tchouaméni, and honestly, he's one of the better players of Madrid this season. Tchouaméni really stays as my CDM. But next to him, I have to buy a player. Of course, I keep Valverde. There is no questions asked. Real Madrid captain. He's always responsible for every great thing that happens at Real Madrid. His performances again this in the Champions League against Manchester City were out of this world. You keep Valverde, but I bring in a different profile to compete with him. Even a player I think this summer will be wanted by every team in the world, honestly, if you can buy him before he becomes the best midfielder in the world, because I really think in the next season, in the next 2 seasons, he'll be the best midfielder in the world, is Elliot Anderson. You have to go and get him. I think Real Madrid, if Real Madrid come knocking on the door, I think it's almost impossible to refuse Real Madrid. So you have to use that power and go get Elliot Anderson of City, because City will probably have a free-runner team. It will be either Manchester City or maybe, let's say, if a team like Liverpool, but I don't think Liverpool will invest highly this summer again. So you have probably only Manchester City competing against them, so you have arguments as Real Madrid to go convince Elliot Anderson, because we're talking about one of the best midfielders in the Premier League this season, and he's been playing with Nottingham Forest, a struggling team, a team that was fighting for relegation, a team that has had at least 3 managers this season. Honestly, you have to go for Elliot Anderson. Elite passer, works off the ball, an aggressor on the ball, an aggressor off the ball, will fit in a team of Mourinho, will fit in a team of Klopp. You have to go and get Elliot Anderson. By the way, he's ranked 9th in attacking threat from midfielder in the whole league. We're talking about, again, one of the best midfielders in the... Only 10 Premier League players have played more minutes than him this season. This is a player who's also present. So Elliot Anderson, for a fee around 100 to 120 million, because I think the World Cup, he'll start alongside Declan Rice. His price will be huge. I think he will cost that much, but I think really that price will look to nothing compared to what he will become in the next season. So for me, I'd start Tchouaméni, Elliot Anderson as my double pivot. There's also Valverde who can compete in that midfielder. There's the young Thiago Pitach that can come in. There is also Bellingham who can play in that role, but I keep Bellingham for my number 10 role. And also I have to go for a different profile as a number 6, because I think Tchouaméni needs also competition. Camavinga will be leaving, which will leave a void. I'll go for another player who's more of a passer of the ball, a player who reminds me a lot of Toni Kroos, a player who's also a progressive passer, a player who also has discipline off the ball. I'm talking about Angelo Stiller. I think Angelo Stiller will be a different profile, because Tchouaméni destroys everything, but Angelo Stiller builds from the back. So if we're building a team that really can adapt either for Klopp football or even for Mourinho, I think we need those 2 different profiles, which completes my midfield. So Angelo Stiller for a fee around 40-45 million is ideal. Tchouaméni as the regular number 6. You have Elliot Anderson and you have Valverde for those roles. I think the midfield rebuild will be finally done. So we move higher on the pitch where Madrid are actually blessed, maybe too much blessed, and this doesn't let them function well, and the team becomes unbalanced. So we have to fix that. Let's start with the number 10 role, where Bellingham obviously starts. He doesn't come off a top season, but again, this is a top player. I don't forget what he did in his first season. Don't forget how good he is as a box crushing midfielder. He can score a lot of goals. He has shown that in that role. Let's not forget that this season also he had that surgery that kept him away from the team for almost the whole season. Let's give him another season. Let's not rule out Jude Bellingham yet. There's also Arda Güler in that role that has shown great things. I think both of them competing for that role would be incredible. You have 2 young players who are hungry, who are showing great things. So in that role, we change nothing. We even bring Nico Paz back, but I don't bring Nico Paz back to play him in this Real Madrid team as I see everywhere. Yes, Nico Paz is an exceptional talent, great player. For just 11 million buyback clause, you have to activate it, but you don't bring him back. You bring him back and sell him to a Premier League team. Nico Paz is valued around 60-70 million. If you can get that fee from a Premier League team, let's say Arsenal. By the way, I've done an Arsenal rebuild. Haven't watched it, go check it out. Arsenal team for me as the replacement of Odegaard, that would be a great deal. So bring Nico Paz and sell him for a huge fee this summer. So let's move to the wings. So as wingers, we have Vinicius Jr. right now, Rodrigo, who's currently injured and will come back, I think, around December. We have Kylian Mbappe as also striker who can play also on the wing. We also have Brahim Diaz, Mastantuano, and Endrick coming back from on, who also can play as a striker. We also have Gonzalo Garcia, who can play as a striker. So let's start on the left side. On the left side, Vinicius Jr. I've said it in multiple times. I've done videos multiple times. You can even go watch my channel. The first few videos I've done of Real Madrid, I've said Vinicius Jr. and Kylian Mbappe can't coexist. Ideally, honestly, for me, I'd sell both, but that's unrealistic. Kylian Mbappe will stay. He is viewed as the project player of this Real Madrid team. So we'll keep Kylian Mbappe, but unfortunately, Vinicius Jr. will have to leave. So I tried to find a team for Vinicius Jr., which will be not easy because of his salary demands, but I think if this is the last season where you can sell Vinicius Jr. because you can't afford to lose him on a free. This is a player that you can sell around 120, 130 million, so you have to sell him, which means that I need a starter for that left wing role. And honestly, it's been difficult to find a left winger who's on the market, a player who realistically can join Real Madrid this summer, and it's been difficult. But honestly, I remember that this is Real Madrid. This is the best team in the world. Honestly, they have the power, they have the money, they have everything to convince a top player. So I went for honestly one of my preferred left wings in the world right now, and I think there is an opportunity. I think you can't convince him because he is a fan of Real Madrid. His idol is Cristiano Ronaldo. I think he has dreamed of wearing the number 7 at Real Madrid at the Stadio Santiago Bernabeu. So if you can convince Paris Saint-Germain to let him leave, again, you gain the best left wing in that specific project. A player who works off hard of the ball, recently has scored important goals against Liverpool, against Bayern Munich. This is a player that is becoming also clutch in important games. I'm talking about Vera Kvaratskhelia. If there is an opportunity this summer for a fee around 120, 130 million, you have to go for him. If you can convince PSG maybe to exchange him with Vinicius Jr., maybe that's career mode fantasies, but if there is an opportunity, go for it, because I think Kvaratskhelia is honestly the only realistic option we would go for him this summer. I've seen rumors around, yes, let's play Mbappe on the left, let's go for Olise, let's go for Julian Alvarez. I think those players don't necessarily dream of Madrid, but Kvaratskhelia has said it multiple times. His dream is Madrid. So I think there is an opportunity to convince him and bring him as my left winger, and this will be perfect because this is a guy that works hard off the ball. This is a guy that is becoming better in terms of goals and assists. He is clutch in front of the goal. So for me, Kvaratskhelia would be the perfect left winger for this role. So which means that I'll start Mbappe as my number 9. I would convince him again. I would finally tell him that, look, you have to play as a striker. So I'd keep Mbappe as my striker, and he can alternate with Kvaratskhelia striker. I think it would work. Which brings us to my right wing. Honestly, I won't touch the right wing. Everyone expects me to go for Olise for another. No, I'd really only keep the players I have. There is Brahim Diaz, I think, who's a perfect squad option. Can play off the left, can play off the right. I keep him. I also keep Franco Mastantuano, who I would have liked to loan, but since Rodrigo is injured till December, I'd keep Mastantuano as my cover. And honestly, my starter would be Endrick. 14 goal involvement since he's gone to Lyon in 19 games in Ligue 1. He hasn't only scored against Paris Saint-Germain, has scored against Rennes, has scored in important games for Lyon this season. Honestly, one of the best Lyon players. Incredible talent, but incredible attitude, working off hard the ball. This is a player that can fit in a hard-working team, and I've said it multiple times. I don't see Endrick as probably as starting striker. I see him more as a right winger, that player that can also like invert in that striker role. I think he has the physical capacities to do it. So I'd start Endrick really at right wing. I'd give him the platform to play that role. And again, as I said, Brahim Diaz can come in as my other option. There is also Mastantuano who would be coming in. So my attack will be balanced right now with Kvaratskhelia left wing, Mbappe as my striker, and Endrick as my right winger. So which brings my total sales this summer to around 350 million, because there is big fees for a player like Vinicius Jr., for a player like Camavinga, and honestly my total signings will be around 380 million. So there is a net spend around 20-30 million, honestly, which is not bad for a team like Real Madrid. So guys, do you agree with signing Vinicius? What do you think? Who is the player that you think Madrid has to sign this summer? So guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure knowing me by liking it and subscribe yet if you're not there for this channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao, ciao.